So, folks, there is a man named Donald Trump, and he's being haunted by a ghost of his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. And this ghost just won't give him any rest. He tries to go fly across the entire planet, all the way to a golf course in another country in order to take his mind off of everything that's going on with a multi-million dollar advertising campaign for his own golf course. He's just a little boy, a little birthday boy. And how could this ghost be so mean to him? And, well, turns out his best friend might have been a child sex trafficker and abuser, and might, in fact, have been one of the most prolific ones in the upper echelons of global society. And, well, Donald Trump might have a lot of continuing ties to Epstein in the form of various lawyers he's worked with who inexplicably were also Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers, and also various people who were in positions to exert power over that case who seemingly did so. People who got the sweetheart deal for Epstein, who also went on to work with Donald Trump. Just a lot, people who knew them as best friends. People are finding incriminating letters that show that they were best friends. Jeffrey Epstein himself is on tape saying that he was Donald Trump's best friend for a decade. Donald Trump is on the record giving an interview talking about how he was, Jeffrey's friend for 15 years, and that he's a terrific guy, and no doubt about it, he loves his social life. He likes him young, just a lot of stuff like that. And well, turns out Donald Trump has been trying to say that it's all been a hoax. It's all been a hoax. There are no Jeffrey Epstein files. There are no client lists or any kind of materials that might tie him to Jeffrey Epstein and his activities, despite the fact that we know that the FBI seized an ungodly amount of data from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, despite the fact that we know the FAA has the flight records of the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's plane, where, by the way, Donald Trump met his current wife, Melania. And we know that the Treasury Department also has a bunch of documents on Epstein's financials that for some reason Scott Bessant is refusing to release. So we know we have a lot of data here to actually talk about, but maybe it's all a hoax, guys. Maybe it's all a hoax. But then the Wall Street Journal came out with a piece that showed that, hey now, why, if you guys weren't best friends, why on earth would you send him a birthday card for his 50th birthday? Why on earth would you draw a naked woman and then write your name as her pubic hair and then type a letter inside of it saying how many wonderful secrets you two share? That's so interesting that you would do that. And your reaction to this was initially to Donald Trump. Your reaction to this was initially to deny the fact that you make drawings. That's weird. That's a weird thing to say you don't do. Especially considering you have a lengthy amount of history, auctioning off pictures for charity and such. So that's weird. And also, you got so mad at the Wall Street Journal for reporting this that you are currently suing Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal. And in fact, just like a day or so ago, you requested that Rupert Murdoch himself be brought in to be deposed in this case within 2 weeks. So that's a weird thing to do, I guess. That's strange. It's a strange thing for you to want if this is all a hoax. But, a bunch of different comments have been coming out over the last few days. Let's take a look at one string of them. This is from yesterday when Donald Trump was sitting down with Keir Starmer, and he took some questions about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's take a look.
Things that we all want.
Mr. President, you have said that you have not been briefed on the Epstein files, but or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is...
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up.
Oh, he hasn't been overly interested in it, which is why he immediately sued Rupert Murdoch. One of his longtime supporters, by the way. It's an interesting thing to do to someone who has had your back through thick and thin.
This is silly, Jack. Epsteins aren't real. Neither are islands or planes.
And he has so little interest in all of this.
Way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government.
And all of these worst people compiled these very damaging documents to not use them for some reason.
Including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years.
Wait. I'm sorry, including the auto pen?
Including the auto pen.
For additional background, the Trump administration is trying to do a probe into Joe Biden signing documents with an auto pen. And that probe has been just an absolute shit show because the guy currently running the probe is using an auto pen to sign his documents. Like, it's all so dumb. It's all so stupid.
Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody.
It's all a hoax. So if it's all a hoax and they fabricated all of these files, just materialized them out of the ether, why would they not release them, Donald?
That ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like,
wait, so if it's a hoax, then they don't have the files and they fabricated all the files. So wait,
they would have released. Now,
so they would have released it if they had fabricated them and put something in them, right?
They can easily put something in the files.
Yep.
That's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well.
Maybe the auto pen did the Trump signature pube drawing in the birthday book. That's gotta be it. Auto pen the pubes.
That auto pen belongs in jail. It's a traitor to the Republic.
Happens to be from your country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book.
Wait, Comey, that 2012 guy? Yeah, the 26, James Comey and Christopher Steele, two people that no one has talked about for like a decade other than Donald Trump constantly relitigating all of this old garbage.
Dossier. We call it the fake news dossier. And
hey, remember this thing that happened like a decade ago? Well, it's probably that again. Just stop looking into it. It's just that again. You know, just do me a solid. Stop looking into it, folks.
The whole thing was a fake. The whole thing was a fake. They can put things in the file that are fake. Those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe, and then he gave out because he was 25 points down, and then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about it. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're doing, but she was the border czar.
Now, you guys are talking about Coney, not Comey 20. Stop it, guys.
Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name. It was Harris.
I'm sorry, I haven't watched this whole thing. Her name is Kamala. No one can remember her last name, but it was Harris. I feel like he just forgot her last name and tried to cover for it while his brain figured it out. You know, like, nobody knows her last name. It was Harris. No one knew the last name of the candidate for president of the United States on the other side of the ticket.
But nobody knew her last name. So I ended up, how would you like to end up in a race where
nobody knew her last name. They all just thought she was Kamala.
you're killing somebody, you're beating him, and then they say, all right, we'll take him out. He's not working. Let's put somebody else. And
I love how he was asked about Jeffrey Epstein, and he's somehow talking about the 2024 election. Dude is desperate. Dude is desperate.
she had a 6-week honeymoon. It was amazing. They predicted she will have a 6-week honeymoon, and she did. And then she got slaughtered. But think of it. Those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy.
And then they did me a solid by not releasing it.
If there was anything in there, they would have used them for the election. Yeah.
Or maybe if there was something in there, they didn't want to do mutually assured destruction, and so they didn't. And now you know that there's stuff about you in there, and you do not want to release those documents, do you, man?
That drawing, I think I heard you say something the other day, that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
I don't do drawings. I've never drawn anything in my life. Don't know how to do it. You put a pen in my hand, I just sign my name. But not in a puby way, just in a normal way.
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, you know, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women.
I don't do drawings, except sometimes I draw buildings. But I would never draw a woman. I just wouldn't know how to start.
I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. And also, you know, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position.
That's such an interesting thing to say about one of the most notorious sex traffickers and pedophiles of our era. Yes, he was somewhat controversial.
You know, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been doing this for a long time. I had the top show on television. I had the #1 bestsellers. I had everything.
He was controversial, just like me. Me and Jeffrey, we were both very controversial together, but not like that, but maybe a little bit like that.
Right, and I was a very successful business guy. He was a very controversial. Who would do a controversial drawing? Now, with that being said, they say there were many letters.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you think about it, he was very controversial, so obviously he would draw a naked lady and put it inside of his own birthday book. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Why, you'd get a bunch of people to come around and write you little notes and put you little cards into a little book, and then you'd sneak one of your own drawings in there. A drawing of a woman, and you'd put it in, and then you'd pretend it was from Donald J. Trump.
It was done by many people, and in many big people, you know, big successful people. But I just...
Yeah, you know, a lot of people put the things in that book. A lot of very big and successful people, probably with like the largest orange dicks you can imagine.
I just don't, when you talk about files, I just keep going back, and other people too. Even the enemy says this thing is not correct, because if we had it, we would have used it on the guy. It's a bad issue. They say it's a good issue for Trump. Do you know that my poll numbers are up 4.5 points since this ridiculous Epstein?
I'm gonna continue to avoid your question and talk about how good I am doing in the polls. Please don't ask me if I'm a pedophile anymore. I'm doing so good in the polls.
Stuff. My poll numbers have gone up 4.5 points because people don't buy it. Okay, people don't buy it. And he's gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. I want to focus on the deal we just made with the European Union, which is the biggest trade deal in history. It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal. So if they would have had something, they would have used it.
And
yeah.
people keep writing stories about the time he threw him out of mar-a-lago. Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
I just want you all to hang on to this question, because this is where it gets really weird. Yeah, what caused you to throw him out of Mar-a-Lago, sir?
Such old history, very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by
Such an old story, very easy to explain, but it's not worth your time as members of the press to know about that old, outdated, unimportant story.
Explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did.
That's so interesting that, like, you were admitting to throwing him out, and then you're saying, I didn't talk to him for years, implying that you then started talking to him again later. You see how the phrasing is really weird and it really matters?
Something that was inappropriate. He hired help, and I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again, and I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
Mr. President.
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard, and many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of.
So that's the president of the United States saying that he never had the privilege to go to the Epstein child rape island. Like, I don't know. That's a really deeply weird way of phrasing it. To talk about how all these very important, powerful people who got to go to the island, and it was a real privilege to go to that island where all the child rapes were happening. And you might have missed it in there. He talks about their falling out being because Jeffrey Epstein hired the help. Well, if you're wondering what that means, we had more insight on that today. Let's see. I think I have a version of this with video. Let's throw it up here from C-SPAN. Quality's not very good.
So, Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do?
In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
So that is the president of the United States talking about how he had hired an underage girl to work at his spa.
It's also adorable that he thinks Bill Clinton only visited Little St. James Chapter 28 times, and somehow the press accepts that they didn't take other planes there.
Right, Saki Tanuki? Like, I want to know what data the FAA has, right? Because I know that obviously there are flight logs from Epstein's plane, but I would imagine the FAA has a bunch of logs of all the planes that went to Epstein's island, right? So I just want to throw out there that a couple of things, right? The president of the United States just talked about having Virginia Giuffre in his spa. Why would you hire a 14-year-old to work in your spa? Because Virginia Giuffre got that job when she was 14, and she met Jeffrey Epstein for the first time while working at that spa when she was 17. Why do you have an underage girl working in your spa that is frequented by powerful, rich elites? That's really weird. Now, one of the things that I would throw out there is that also, generally speaking, if you want to be a massage therapist, you need to be, one, an adult, and two, licensed, because you can actually hurt people if that is what you are doing. And, when you have the guy who owned the place talking about how the main problem here was Jeffrey Epstein stealing her and not the sex trafficking that he was doing. It kind of sounds like you were running your own sex trafficking operation and he was running his and he got on your turf. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. And the fact that he's talking about this happened to multiple people indicates that Virginia Giuffre isn't the only one, because he mentions it specifically happening more than one time. So that is pretty... I mean, what is shocking about it is that he is saying it to the press, right? Like, that's the shocking part about it, is that he's just like, no. Jeffrey Epstein, very controversial guy. But he was stealing my employees. So that's the reason I got rid of him. Not because he was being like a creep or anything, but because he was hiring my employees. Yeah, they both ran modeling agencies, Bad Lefty. Exactly. And I do want to remind a lot of people about this. Michael Wolff has been talking about this for a while now. And here he is. Michael Wolff was Epstein's biographer. Had a lot of conversations with him. Let's take a listen to this.
But at any rate, at one point after Trump had been elected, I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing, covering
their mouths.
Yeah, exactly. And pointing, 3 or 4 girls. And those are the ones I specifically remember. And my assumption is that they were in the safe, and I have seen him on other occasions take them out of the safe. And I think it's certainly not unlikely that they were in the safe when the FBI came in after his arrest and took everything from the house, including everything that was in the safe. But at any rate,
that is a man who would know, talking about how the president of the United States was photographed with multiple children in sexual circumstances. And that is almost certainly in the possession of the government somewhere, somehow, unless it's been destroyed. I mean, if Donald Trump is as desperate as he seems, like that would be something that, if it came out, could actually ruin him. Oh yeah, Michael Wolff is a gigantic piece of shit, clam jammer. He talked about this maybe like a year or 2 ago during the 2024 election. But like, yeah, he's gross as fuck. He's basically kept a bunch of secrets like on the DL to like deploy at different times to like advertise his books. It's gross. Yeah, and we can guess what that stain likely was exactly. I mean, like, even the people who are defending Trump are doing a horrible job at it, right? Like, this is Markwayne Mullins here, senator from Oklahoma,
was sealed in 2009,
trying to defend Donald Trump on CNN. Jaeger Larson, thank you for gifting a sub to Clam Jammer.
Even weigh in on that. But I'll go back to what you're saying about it wasn't true. The case was sealed in 2009. That's absolutely true. It was heard in 2008. It was sealed in 2009.
The point is that the sweetheart deal, which was completed in 2008, was under the Bush administration, U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta. That's why Alex Acosta resigned in the first Bush administration, because the Miami Herald had written this story in 2018 about how Epstein got away with so much. And then in 2019, the U.S. attorney under President Trump, Jeff Berman in the Southern District of New York, then brought charges against him. So, I mean, there is stuff to say that you could point to that say, like, President Trump did this, right, or President Trump did that.
And remember, in 2019, President Trump and his administration called for it to be unsealed at that time, too. It went silent, and not a word was said during the Biden administration. Not a word. Nothing was said during the Biden administration.
People can look it up. The sweetheart deal was 2008 during the George W. Bush administration. But I always appreciate your coming on the show.
They're just wrong, right? Like they're just going out there and saying whatever they can to try and make this even marginally go away. And like they can't. There's nothing that is sticky enough to make this go away. Not even a little bit. Like I'm sorry, guys, but even like our reporter who has his finger on the pulse of the dumbest people in the MAGA movement understands that this is potentially ruining.
So Trump did actually make comments about Epstein.
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run
you're welcome for
by
that.
the worst scum on earth. The whole thing is a hoax. They can put things in the file that are fake. Those files were run by bad, sick people. But they were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them for the election.
I just don't know why. If you thought they were being run by the enemy and you thought they had altered the files, then why would you bring on multiple people into your staff as cabinet members that advocated for releasing the files? It just doesn't make sense. And especially like he's alluded to like, Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton being involved. Like that's the issue, right?
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women. They say there's a drawing of a woman. Do you know that my poll numbers are up 4.5 points since this ridiculous Epstein stuff? Because people don't buy it. And
I just feel like they'd be up by 10 points if you just posted it and it implicated people that you thought were implicated, like Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't like this. I think it's
gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Like even Asmongold is like, what the fuck did he just say?
In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Trump's 100% hiding shit. At this point, so much of this doesn't make sense to me at all. I think one of Trump's biggest strengths is his ability to read a room and effectively figure out what people are thinking. What's weird about this situation with Epstein is that it's like he's totally off base with it in a way that I would have never expected.
Yeah, it's almost like he's full of shit or something. Wait a minute, it's almost like this guy's a liar. Yeah, the dumbest person on earth even is going, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. This guy might not be on the up and up. And again, if you've lost Asmongold, you're definitely losing the Patrick Bet-Dave. Oh my God, they're losing the bottom of the barrel like MAGA folks. They can't do it. They can't follow him. He's gone on a journey where they can't follow. It's terrifying. Let's jump in. Let's jump in here because there was actually a segment on the Patrick Bet-David show earlier today about these new revelations, and I figured let's check it out.
Epstein. What angle can we take with the Epstein? So Trump challenges.
What angle can we take with this? How do we possibly make Trump look good here? How can we glaze effectively in these conditions?
Media to talk about Bill Clinton, Larry Summers when discussing the Jeffrey Epstein. He's been interviewed. He's been asked about it. I think this is the clip, Rob. If you got it, play this clip.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Hey, he sent his former defense attorney down there to cut a deal with Ghislaine Maxwell. Wait a minute. That seems really suspicious. Why wouldn't you let a local prosecutor who's handling the case handle it? Why are you sending your personal attorney? That's weird.
Speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the
What do you think, is going on with the Epstein? One moment they're going to release it. One moment they're not going to release it. We've been following the story very closely. We've been following what Epstein's background is closely, way before it became a story right now. How do you view the entire Epstein scandal?
A few things. One, I think Democrats got interested in this about 5 minutes ago, and it's apparent to people that it is completely cynical, political.
We've been talking about it the entire time. Like, the entire time. During the 2016 election, during the 2020 election, his connections with Epstein were talked about nonstop. What are you talking about? It just never pierced the bubble into MAGA world because you guys just don't believe anything that, like, people on the left talk about. If people on the left talk about it, you're like, it's poisoned with lies. We need to disbelieve it. Even if people on the left are talking about how the earth is round. Like, you guys just don't believe plain sense and fact because the MAGA sphere is dedicated to effectively making you believe nothing but lies. It's crazy.
They think they can use it to divide the president from his base. They have failed at that, by the way. There's a narrative that Republicans are mad at. They're not. His numbers among Republicans have gone up since this story started. They like what he's doing. But that
Republicans like very flimsy stories and attempts to deflect from raping children. Okay, that's interesting information to know, I guess.
That's the only reason Democrats are crying about this right now is because they think it's a political weapon. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about the human toll here. It's just politics. That's number
We literally, by the way, the other day, we literally went through and talked about every single itemized thing on the list of stuff seized from Jeffrey Epstein's home. And there is definitely, just from that list, you know that there are terabytes upon terabytes upon terabytes of data that at some level have to be traceable back to individuals involved in this. There's just no way.
Number one. Number two, when I heard about the birthday letter, it gave me Kavanaugh high school yearbook vibes. Remember when Kavanaugh was going through his...
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got his high school yearbook.
Oh, yeah. You like beers.
Same kind of thing here. So, the president says he didn't write it. It doesn't sound like Donald Trump, honestly. And do I think that somebody put together a book for Epstein? Probably, maybe. But here's what I know. Here's the only things I really know. They were friends. Trump disowned him, kicked him out of his club when it became apparent the guy was a creep.
Yeah, also, Mr. Anderson, thank you for this reference. This is from 2021, just as an FYI, during Maxwell's trial, actually. Jeffrey Epstein introduced me to Trump at 14, Maxwell accuser says, in the 1990s at the Mar-a-Lago resort. So, like, I gotta be honest here. We have stories of Donald Trump in the 90s, during the period of his time with Jeffrey Epstein, being introduced to underage girls that Jeffrey Epstein was molesting. And he didn't think, maybe I shouldn't be friends with this guy when he met the literal 14-year-olds he was abusing. Like, I'm sorry, guys. The president's a pedophile. Like, it just, every day it becomes more clear.
And then they didn't have any contact. That's what I know about that period. I also know this. If there were anything in these files that could hurt Donald Trump, when Joe Biden had them for 4 years, when the Democrats had possession of them, they would have released it.
Yep.
I have no doubt about that. And so I'm not really thinking there's anything in here. How does it end? They'll have to release something. They tried to get the grand jury material. A judge said no. I guess they'll keep working on that. My assessment is they'll probably have to release something. Some people will accept it. Some people won't. But I don't think he's wrong that there obviously were people who went to the island. We don't seem to care about that. We only seem to care about Trump, who did.
Yeah, because he's the fucking president of the United States, dipshit. Yeah, it kind of matters a little bit more. You know, like, I think everyone on that list should be prosecuted fully to the fullest extent of the law. But it matters a hell of a lot if the president's on there, right?
Disowned the guy before any of this ever became public.
It's funny you're saying this. Jamil Hill, one of your colleagues, who is on.
I wonder if Vinny is going to lose it. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Let's skip ahead to Vinny.
They just need that to become part of a narrative. No facts, no truth, narrative. This is why they're cratering, because people are onto the narrative-driven politics. It's crazy.
But so let me ask you a question, Scott. So but let's take Trump completely out of the equation. When it comes to like the Bill Gates and how Melinda Gates said on camera, she basically divorced her husband because of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Take that for what it's worth. She said he was deplorable. No, I'm sorry.
Also, this is a news article from today. Trump approval rating sinks to 40%, the lowest of his term. Reuters Ipsos poll finds. So yeah, he's not doing great right now, actually.
She said he was abhorrent, that he was evil personified when she was around him. She felt disgusted. Then go to Bill Clinton, was on the airplane 28 times, very close relationship, visited the White House 17 times. Let's take Trump completely out. When you have a team like Pam Bondi, who worked in Florida after the conviction, and she came in after the Attorney General. Then you have Dan Bongino, you have Kash Patel, who are running on this campaign of Epstein, watch what I'm going to do day one and all this. What do you say to them? And then Pam Bondi getting caught saying, tens of thousands of hours and stuff like that. Taking Trump out, what do you say to the people like me who are like, okay, wait a minute. You guys are talking the talk. Now you guys are in, and all of a sudden it feels like somebody's telling them to shut up. Somebody's saying to sweep this under a rug because there are some powerful people on there. Not even Trump, just everybody else. Like maybe.
Honestly, great question, Vinny. You should nurture that curiosity. Because that's a great question. How have you filled the galleries around Donald Trump with people who campaigned on releasing these files, and now weirdly you're not releasing the files? That's strange.
Major players are still involved. What do you say about that?
Well, my view is, if anybody committed crimes, they should be investigated and taken to trial. I mean, if you committed a crime, you should face consequence. I don't care how rich you are or how powerful you are. That's number one.
Cool. So you're going to vote to release the files, right?
Number two, right? I don't think you can just do away with this because it's apparent to me that there's enough support in the Congress to...
Wait, but you could. You could do away with this by releasing the files.
Want to release something? Mm-hmm. And now, we're in...
Yeah, by something... all of the files, right?
August, so the Congress is gone. And so, if I were advising them, I would say, listen, what can you get out? What can you do here? What is within the realm of the possible? Because if you let this eat up the rest of the calendar year in Congress, if this sort of takes precedent over the rest of your agenda, that would be a terrible thing. And so...
Yeah, it'd be, honestly, we're just so busy. It'd be a terrible thing for us to spend some time to vote to release the Epstein files because we're so busy. We need to get so much stuff done. Guys, come on.
My suspicion is over the next few weeks, you're likely to see something. Again, I'm under no expectation it'll satisfy everybody, but I think they should probably do what they can do. But all the time, Trump is right. The Democrats don't care about this because they care about victims or anybody else. If they did, they would have released it when Joe Biden had possession of the records. If they cared, Biden would have released the records. They only care now.
Yeah, sure. The Democrats are hollow pieces of shit, for sure. But who currently has the majority in the House, the Senate, and the presidency? Who's the one at the end of the day where the buck stops? Somewhere in all those people, y'all have the ability to release this, so you should release it, right?
Now because of Trump. They only care now because of Trump, and so continuing to deal with this does to some degree play their game.
I agree with Scott that something's got to be released so watch what they're doing. Conversation. I'll put all of them in one. So Ghislaine Maxwell granted limited immunity while giving the DOJ 100 people linked to the Jeffrey Epstein report. This is one. Is this his?
What's so crazy, right? They're trying to look at Patrick Bet-David's eyes here. He's screaming for help. You're trying to say that oh yes, it's totally reasonable for us to release the most prolific living sex trafficker currently in prison in the United States, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best confidant, fixer, girlfriend, etc. You're going to cut her freedom in exchange for 100 names for your political enemies that presumably you already have the evidence for. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense except as a bend over backwards way of getting your former friend out of prison.
Her attorney.
Okay, go for it, Rob.
I think Glenn did a wonderful job. She literally answered every question. She didn't say, you know what, don't ask me that. I'm not.
Oh, she did such a wonderful job. She was so good. She was so good in that courtroom. She was so good in that deposition, just absolutely nailing it. It was wonderful. She was really she was walking around the room going And I was going like, yeah, slay queen, as she listed off names to me. And I was just like, oh man, this bitch is so ready to get out of jail and so ready to party. You know what I'm saying? Probably her and Trump. Maybe they'll go fly to like a little island somewhere and just like party, you know? That's the impression I got anyway, as Donald Trump's former defense attorney.
Not going to talk about this person. She was asked.
I wish we could see
maybe about
that.
100 different people. She answered questions about everybody, and she didn't hold anything back.
Let the people see the interview. Let us see what happened there. So that's that.
Hey, you know, just real quick, it's really interesting that you aren't making any comment here about the sign that is pointing out that this man is literally his former attorney and fixer. It's so weird that you're not mentioning that, but okay.
Then Trump keeps the doors open for pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. He says, I'm allowed to do it. Okay? Interesting.
Which is such a weird way of phrasing when asked if you're going to do it.
Am I the only one who actually is annoyed when people properly pronounce Ghislaine Maxwell correctly? Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk Lane feels much more appropriate of a pronunciation.
Right, Sakya Tanuki? I adhere to tradition. Ghislaine just makes sense.
I'm allowed to do it. Go ahead, Rob.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. But maybe it's slightly different.
Mr. President, the president completely ruled out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell when you landed. Is that something you would ever consider, and why?
Pardon for who?
For Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well,
I've only heard her name pronounced as Ghislaine. I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna again, keep in mind, guys, Ghislaine Maxwell sexually assaulted children. She was also a child predator who then groomed these kids to be ready for Jeffrey Epstein. They're absolutely going to try and get her out of prison. It's insane.
That aspect of it, but.
By the way, I called my reps today and my senate. I called my senators. You all should do the same.
Right now, it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
So that's that, Rob. Let's go to the next one. Then you get, again, this is hold of Ghislaine Maxwell. The DOJ sitting more than 100,000 pages of unreleased Epstein material. This is New York Times, 100,000. What are those 100,000 things that they have? Go for it, Rob.
This is separate.
I would love for the member of Congress you have here to answer that question.
This is about the mysterious box.
Right, and then that was the one I was going to get to last. If you want to play the mysterious box, go for it.
This is video of Maxwell returning to prison just moments after meeting with Trump's deputy attorney general. And you can see her there. Actually, if you look closely, she's carrying a box of material. Now, Maxwell's attorney says she was forthcoming with every question that Trump's team threw at her today.
That's her. So if you pardon her.
What did they put in the box? That seems like a weird thing to do. The first time hearing about it here.
How many podcasts, shows, interviews will she go on? What?
Oh, God. He's already doing the mental calculations, the cost-benefit analysis of having a known child molester on his show. You can see the cogs turning in his mind. Should I have the convicted child trafficker and pedophile on my show? It'd be good content though. You can see the gears turning. It's crazy.
What will TMZ pay for an interview?
Oh my God.
What will NBC, ABC, CBS, 60 Minutes pay for that interview? That interview will be so explosive. You're talking millions on top of millions of views if you release her. And she won't stop talking. Now, what are you going to put, a gag order? Is he just toying with them to say that I would entertain it? What do you think is going to happen here with this Ghislaine one that's coming out with them, allowing her to speak to DOJ and giving 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein? Scott?
I personally don't support a pardon for her because she's a terrible person. She helped Epstein commit these crimes. I mean, she's in jail for a reason. And I don't know what she told him. Blanche, who I think is a very good lawyer, I don't know what she told him, and I don't know how credible what she said is. I mean, remember, she's a convicted felon and a liar and somebody who committed terrible acts in her life. And so, look, my view is if
I want to see like a modicum of pressure applied here because this man just got super uncomfortable.
If you have evidence that somebody committed a crime, just go get them.
Yeah.
If you don't, be honest about that too. Ultimately, transparency tends to help everything.
I'm going to disagree with our friend Scott Jennings for a second. And I'm no legal scholar here.
I'm no lawyer either.
Okay. Have you ever heard Ghislaine Maxwell talk? You ever heard her voice?
No.
I've seen a million videos of her, seen a million images of her. No clue what she sounds like. Doesn't know if she has an accent. I don't know if her name is Ghislaine, Ghislaine. I have no clue. I want this woman to sing like a canary and tell us everything, expose everybody, tell all the dirtiest, darkest secrets out there. I don't care that she's a criminal. Everyone wants the truth. She's the only person alive, allegedly, that knows all the dirt. Why are we keeping this lady a secret? She had a whole trial.
She's not a secret. She had a whole trial and she's been in prison.
What happened in the trial?
Well,
she was there. She went to jail. She's gone.
What?
Am I wrong here?
No.
Do we want Ghislaine to start singing and tell the story?
No, because he's right, Pat. Because think about it. She's in prison for 5 counts, including sex trafficking of a minor, transportation of a minor for illegal sexual activity, and conspiracy to entice minors to travel for illicit purposes. Okay, where are the people that she sold all this crap to? Where are those people? Then
his name is Jeffrey Epstein. He's dead.
No. Where are the people, the guys that were paying, that were getting all the sex?
It was probably Jeffrey Epstein that was paying.
No, I'm saying, bro.
Jeffrey, okay, here's a better question. Where did Jeffrey Epstein get his money? Because he wasn't paying Ghislaine Maxwell to do this. I'm sorry, did you think he was just like running like a weird little sex trafficking operation out of Little St. James, like pro bono? No. Those rich fucks were coming there and paying for it. Vinny is actually like genuine. I can't believe that this angry weirdo is like the most genuine person on this show. Like he actually gives a shit. And honestly, I'm kind of pro Vinny. Like he might have some really objectionable opinions and he might have just some bulging veins and some anger issues that he needs to work on. But you know what? Like I think that he actually gives a shit about this, and like I can work with that. I can work with like someone who cares enough to give a shit.
Hosting.
Oh yeah, he was hosting these parties. All those people, all those tapes. What I'm saying is, if there's no crime, where are the customers? Well, if you can't be a drug dealer, Adam,
so you're making my case. Don't you want her to speak?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You think they're gonna really let her sit in front of a camera and spill
I don't know,
everything?
but I think we'd like to see it. Am I wrong?
You know what's probably in that bag? Rope for her to not hang herself.
She did.
That's probably what's in there.
I mean, she did sit in front of the Deputy Attorney General of the United States and for 2 days and answered apparently every question.
Was it televised?
No, you're never gonna see that.
Well, I mean, she did answer some questions. Hey, why was the Deputy Attorney General of the United States going to talk to a woman who was convicted years ago? Why would you do that? If this is like a normal situation, why would the Deputy Attorney General of the entirety of the United States do that? Why wouldn't you just have like, I don't know, local prosecutors handle that? Why wouldn't you have like local DAs handle that? The answer is because you're up to some shady fucking shit. You send the Deputy Attorney General, who is the former defense attorney for Donald Trump, to talk with her specifically to protect Donald Trump. That's what you do. That was his job. That is still his job. And like, she had immunity during her questioning to say whatever she wants. So when we're talking about like, oh man, she sang like a bird. Yeah, it's really easy to sing like a bird when like you have immunity from any prosecution from anything you say in that room. God. Yeah, she also perjured herself. So like any actual testimony is suspect as fuck.
But that's my point, Scott.
But if
we don't know what she said.
But if there's a clip right here.
But if they're investigating. I mean, we wouldn't televise the early part of it.
Yeah, no, for
that's
sure.
her now?
Watch this.
There's
investigating what?
An interview with her where she talks about Jeffrey Epstein killing himself.
Do you believe that he committed suicide? Because many don't.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did.
There's her voice, Adam.
I believe that he was Murdered.
Murdered.
Okay.
Boom.
So, by the way, here's the thing. Do you know who else has 15 to 16 hours of footage with Epstein? Do you know who?
Tell me.
A guy named Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon is sitting on 15 to 16. Rob, I just text you a clip
What do you
of
mean?
it.
Really?
Steve, are you guys serious
I'm
right now?
dead serious.
Okay,
What?
Rob, can you go on ChatGPT, please?
What?
Fuck. I hate how these guys treat ChatGPT. It's so embarrassing, guys.
Rob, go on ChatGPT and type in how
I
many.
guarantee you, one of the guys on the Patrick Bet David show, give them like 2 years, and one of them will be suffering from AI psychosis. You know, like one of them will be like, I murdered my family so I could be with my ChatGPT wife. Like it's gonna be something like that. In like give it 2 years.
How many hours of footage does Steve Bannon have of Epstein?
What do you mean?
Just wait a minute.
Okay, yeah.
How many hours of footage does Steve Bannon have on Epstein? Of Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. Watch this. And zoom in, please, so I can read this. Thanks, Rob. Steve Bannon is
Dad,
reported.
I went to eat, clean, Jill, start laundry, and do some goal planning. I came back and you're still like here doing your thing. Go Queen.
It's like I prepare a show or something, and then I do it. Hello, thank you for the $5 super chat. What? Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Hope your planning went well.
Have 15 to 16 hours of
replace them with Chat PBD. Oh, that'd be so good.
unreleased interview footage of Jeffrey Epstein shot in 2018, 2019 as a planned documentary project that was never, ever released.
Why?
Go to one of the clips, Rob, that I just texted you. You know which one I'm talking about. I just literally sent it to you 2 minutes ago. Right there, watch this one. Here's one clip of it, okay? And
interesting how the conversation has strayed from the Epstein files, isn't it?
20
Is that
seconds of it.
Epstein?
Yeah.
That's Epstein and Bannon. Watch this. I'm sorry.
I am being generous, Archangel the Cop, but I genuinely think it's going to happen.
Vinny, you haven't seen it. Watch this.
Future is for the way women think. The way women think. That's correct. Isn't that a sop because of all the depravity you've done against young women? And your new sop is that their women's thinking is the future.
No, I've always believed that women would be able to take over. I'm a firm believer and supporter of Time's Up. Future is
Okay, so here's a question, Scott.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that evil fucking prick. God.
15 to 16 hours footage of Epstein in 1819 that you got, and you've been sitting on it for 7 years, 6 years. Why do you think that's not been released?
I don't know. Really, my guess is there are a lot of people who want it, and as you were alluding to earlier,
What about the Epstein files? Why hasn't that been released, huh?
a lot of people would pay to have it right now. I mean, pay a lot of money to see what he had to say. Not just in bites either, but the whole thing. I mean, I actually wonder if the Department of Justice has asked for it, at some juncture.
I would be surprised if they haven't asked for it. I would be surprised if they haven't gone up to him. And to me, you can, as a guy that thinks of many different reasons, why would he hang on to it? By the way, let's say, what is the likelihood that he dropped names and actually gave him real information? What do you think the percentage is? Let's spitball, like 5%, 50%, 80%, 20%. What do you think the percentage is? Tom, what do you think? What do you think that actually in those 15, 16 hours, Epstein gave names?
0%. Like, for fuck's sake, why would he do that? Does Vinny get to talk again? I want to hear Vinny talk. Vinny's the only one on this issue who actually gives a shit.
Hours. I am telling you, millions of people will watch the entire 16 hours on 2.0 speed. Millions would watch it on Spotify 3.5 speed. It would be the number one podcast worldwide just because of
Absolutely.
It would break records for hours.
It's a pretty sick mind who can of someone who can only conceive of like the Jeffrey Epstein files or tapes as like what they would do for ratings, as opposed to like, why can't they just release them now? You have the tapes. Who gives a shit? Who gives a goddamn shit about the ratings? Like, genuinely, how unhinged do you have to be for that to be your main like thought on this issue? I did hear that Emile Beauvais Bovee, I always forget how to say his last name, got confirmed today, despite the fact that it was revealed that there are recordings of what he said. Fuck the Justice Department, like fuck the law, essentially. Still got confirmed. Sucks. Trump is just being a president. I mean, I guess if raping children is your definition of being a president, I guess so.
So, can I ask you a question, Ben?
Just on curiosity.
Yeah, just on curiosity.
You're Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
You have that footage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did I know that Bill and Hillary Clinton were on Epstein Island too? Then they should go to jail. Anyone who went to an island to fuck children should go to jail. It's pretty straightforward. Hell, anyone who didn't go to an island to fuck children should go to jail. Like if you're having sex with children, you should go to jail.
So walk me through it.
Yeah.
He makes a bunch of copies.
Yeah.
If Zoran Mamdani went to some place to have sex with children, yeah. Like I'm sorry, did I stutter? If somebody fucks a child, they should go to jail. Did I stutter? Are you hard of hearing? Like, is this a difficult concept for you to grasp? I don't know. I think that's weird. I think it's a pretty easy standard for most people to actually meet. The not having sex with children standard. Oddly, a lot of conservatives can't meet that standard, though. We just talked about like 5 yesterday that were outed as pedophiles.
He gives them to, what does he tell his lawyer? Like, what do you think the strategy is? 'Cause I mean, do 15 hours. Anybody in the Department of Justice and higher ups, those people that are technically on this list.
I'm telling you right now, there's a part of them that is kind of like, dude, if you even think about releasing. So there, I mean, he asked the question, right?
Yeah.
Have they reached out? To me is, why haven't you reached out? A guy says he's got 15 to 16 hours of footage with Epstein. You don't want to find out what he says in there?
But like, why is your concern about the footage that Bannon has versus the direct evidence from what was taken from Epstein's home? Like, if you cared about this, you would want the evidence from Epstein's home.
It's like when Rudy Giuliani, I mean,
yeah, he's not going to be talking about things that incriminate him or the names of people that he that would be incriminated in an interview with Steve Bannon.
Apartment when I'm doing the interview, Mafia States of America. He's showing me the laptop. I have the laptop.
Hey, Artard, do you want Trump to go to jail if he's in the Epstein files? Like, if Donald Trump fucked children, do you want him to go to jail? I'm just wondering. Like, are you one of those like fashy fucks who like is like just okay if the president rapes children? Yeah, I mean, well, that's not. So yes, if he did rape children, you would want him to go to jail. Cool, awesome. That is the main point of agreement I was looking for. You were able to clear the minimum hurdle to remain in chat.
This is Hunter Biden's laptop. The FBI came here. I'm trying to give it to them. They don't want to take it. What the hell? This is the laptop. This is the laptop. They don't want it. They're not interested in it. Take it. You want to see what's in it? No. When we're going through this. This was, I don't know what year this was, but 2019, 2020, when we're doing the 2020, something like that.
We had the guy come on. John Paul, what was it?
John Isaac Mark.
Yeah.
John Mack.
From Delaware. He's the guy that was fixing the laptop.
Can I ask you guys a quick question on Epstein? Maybe we could run a poll. This will be real quick. It's either one of 3 things. Maybe.
Wait, are you unable to like understand that artard is not the same word as retarded? Like, are you unable to distinguish like words? Also, do you note how like not fussed I am?
I'm off. Number 1, either he's just a total creep pervert, granted. Number 2, financial criminal mastermind, or number 3,
artard, you're cute.
And a lot of people are making him out to be like Hannibal Lecter and Freddy Krueger and Darth Vader personified. Where do you have him, Scott?
Are these things mutually exclusive?
Nah, Solazar, YouTube chat is not the primary chat.
But where do you think he is in these 3 categories? Because a lot of people think that he's the worst person
I just look at all the chats.
Scumbag.
Live.
He's a scumbag.
Okay, but that's scumbag is number 1.
I'm not speaking on behalf of Scott. Scott can, have his
complete creep, pervert, financial criminal mastermind, or basically the devil personified.
I mean,
of those 3 categories.
I mean, look, based on everything we know about what happened there, I mean, I think you start with complete, total creep, evil person.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously money was wrapped up in his worldview and his activities in some way, but you don't go from, being, what was he, a teacher? to being massively wealthy.
Yeah.
And engaging in the activities that they engaged in at that level of society without some kind of deep problem and evil problem. I think he's a scumbag. I think he's a creep. I think the people who helped him and the people who
maybe the people who willingly chose to associate with him even after he introduced them to his 14-year-old girlfriends were creeps, maybe?
participated in it are the same. And my personal view is anybody who committed a crime needs to go to jail. And why they haven't? I mean, only one person's in jail. Maxwell.
Yeah, and that's deeply fucking weird. And it would be also deeply fucking weird and hella suspicious to pardon the one person from this who is in jail.
Her.
And you don't want her to speak.
She did speak. She talked to the attorney. Do you not trust Trump's guys? I do.
I don't trust anybody. I want her to speak.
She did talk to Trump.
I don't trust anybody. That's why I implicitly trust the lady who was found guilty of perjury.
Where? Show me proof. Show me something.
He went there. There was video of him talking.
Show me her talking. I got nothing.
No, so wait a minute. You're saying they didn't even interview her?
I'm saying I would like to hear from myself.
If the lawyer comes out and says, the lawyer on her side that is defending her comes out and said she answered every question, and then she's walking back into...
Yeah. But I want to see the movie for myself.
Oh, you want to see the movie?
Don't tell me about the movie.
I want to see the movie. That's all this is to these people. They don't actually have any shit to give. They are just utterly without any kind of interest or moral compass. Strange. Hey, Artard, you have to be more interesting. You have to be more interesting if you're gonna hang out here. Because if you're just boring, you gotta go. And frankly, you were being very boring. So. Nah, you did. Don't worry, Banana Brains. It's fine. Yeah, I want, if you're gonna be a conservative troll here, I don't know, be interesting. I feel like the meme of just the blob person poking a rock with a stick. Come on, do something. So anyway, Ghislaine Maxwell is filing a Supreme Court brief to try and get her conviction overturned. So if she's not gonna get a pardon, maybe the Supreme Court will let her out of prison because she's trying to argue that the agreement that was made with Jeffrey Epstein in 2008 should also have applied to her so that, she should get out. Everything she was prosecuted for actually doesn't count. That's the last bit of information about this story. We kind of piddled out there towards the end here, but they want to get her out of prison, guys, because she has some goddamn dirt on Donald J. Trump. It's nuts. I can't believe it. They are going to try and put the one convicted pedophile groomer, sex trafficker, they're going to try and get her out of prison to protect the president. They are literally willing to put a pedophile sex trafficker back on the streets of America if it means protecting their big, precious orange boy. God damn. Conservatives, fuck. Y'all keep talking about think of the children. Your guy is gonna put a pedophile back on the streets. Well, Quirky Nico, it does remain to be seen if this actually would protect Trump in any given capacity, given that, he's been saying highly incriminating things nonstop every time he's asked about this. It's nuts. Anyway, comment, and subscribe. It's always feels really weird to say that after such horrible segment. Hey, here are all the horrors of the world. Comment, and subscribe.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being flame more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.